GHEX Manchester 2024, our global event. Today, it's a pleasure to introduce you to one of the attendees, Dorcas Ross, a hardworking advocate for home education in Bolivia, whose dedication to education and the well-being of children extends for over a decade. And alongside her husband, Dante Espinoza, she has been instrumental in developing home education leadership across various Bolivian departments, from La Paz to Santa Cruz. She and her husband have flown across the country to speak about home education, sharing their insights, their experience, encouraging families, and providing counsel to both leaders and parents. And as we embark in our discussion, we aim to uncover the unique aspects of home education in Bolivia and Dorcas' vision of the future. Dorcas, welcome.
Hi, I'm really happy to be here with you, Erika.
We're happy to have you. So I know we're going to see you in Manchester. This conference is going to be great, and it aims to strengthen the global homeschooling network. We're going to collaborate together. We're going to share all our successful educational methods, our challenges. It's lovely. But today, could you tell us something about the educational landscape in Bolivia and how legal frameworks affect homeschooling there?
Well, Bolivia is a country among Latin America, which is all the way across the oceans for you and for all of you in Europe. And well, it's not legally formulated or permitted, nor is it prohibited. It's kind of, there's a void of some sort, and so that's what we're advantage of as homeschoolers. There are, however, very harsh educational laws. In my country in particular, I think it's one of the most challenging countries to homeschool, because there are at least 3 regulations in educational law that make it harder for homeschoolers. One of them is that all children in school age must be registered in a school of the Bolivian system. So you cannot register your children abroad, which is something that lots of people do in all Latin America. They register their children in umbrella schools up in USA or in Colombia or whatever. You can't do that here. It has to be a Bolivian school in the system. So it took a lot of negotiation skills from the leadership to reach out to the traditional schools and have them understand our way of work and that they could trust us. So the Association of Homeschool Bolivia is full of heroes, people who are very patient to try to explain to traditional teachers about our way of work and teach our children and have them understand that we are to be trusted. So that's only one of the 3 big ones that make it a headache for us daily and yearly to homeschool. But still, we're standing together and we're doing it as long as we can.
Amazing. That's amazing. I'm so grateful that I can speak to you and speaking to people like you. And you're right now at a homeschooling meeting. I mean, how true can you get? That's amazing.
Today is Children's Day in our country. And so we are celebrating the kids, the younger ones, 12 and below years old. And so we had games, and it's lunchtime right now, and we're going to play a little bit more, and then they're going to have party favors. So
it's great. And you know what? We have something in common with Italy. Bolivia and Italy both don't allow you to use umbrella schools. So see, and we have to register as well, and we have to go through the Italian system. So that's very interesting for me. And I'm getting so excited because see, we're sharing right now online. What's going to happen in Manchester? That's going to be 100 times better, 1,000 times better. What excites you the most about coming to Manchester?
To get there, that will be incredible. It's very hard. The visa process has been very long and exhausting. And we have an understanding here in America, because USA, North America is very strong in homeschooling. So they're doing fine and they know it. But the rest of the continent, we also live in this continent, all the Latin American countries, we have a very clear understanding that whatever happens in Europe will eventually affect us. So I am really looking forward to go there and tell you, hey guys, from the other side of the oceans, please keep up the fight. I mean, hold your ground. Because if you fall, it's not only about you, after you, we're all going to fall. So this is a fight in the end. And I'm sorry that I have to use the word fight, but this is a fight about freedom. This is about the freedom of the peoples, the peoples of the world, that they have to be able to decide on their own, that they don't have to have a stranger, which is the state, telling them what to do and what not to do and how to live their lives.
That's our mission. It's true. And with your vast experience in home education in Bolivia, what would you say? What are the growth shifts that you have witnessed in the demographics or the perceptions about home education? Has something changed in these years?
Yeah, when we began, my family is one of the founding families of the country. When we began to homeschool, there was no community, no association, no structure, no allies, no umbrella schools, nothing. We practically did it alone on our own for the very first 7 years. Of course, some people had homeschooled their kids before us, mostly parents of sports people, like Olympic gymnastics girls who couldn't really fulfill with the traditional school's calendar, so they would somehow homeschool their kids, but that was not their intention. Homeschooling was tangential to the other things that were happening in their lives, which was mostly sports and competitive sports. Also some missionaries, maybe some diplomat children's, and that was it. There was nobody who would really associate, and not Bolivians. I mean, I've known people who were from Chile and that were homeschooling longer than me in this country, but never did they think in starting an association. So when we were there, and some people already was beginning to ask about it, and the day we were founding Homeschooling Bolivia, which is the national movement here, the national community, we were asking each other, do we need to do this? We're just 6 families. So we can walk across the school years, not even being noticed. It's just 6 families. Government will not know, families will maybe not know. And when we're on the other side, when our children graduate from school, we'll be off the hook. And why do we care to do anything else? Why the extra job? Why do we want to found an association to defend our freedoms and our civil liberties? Why do we want to burden ourselves, besides, apart from the homeschool work we do in association? And we said mainly because we want our children to do this when they're grown-ups and when they have their own children. And if we don't fight today, the phenomena for them will be harder when they are parents. The scenario for them will be worse when they are parents, because that's how things are going. So that's what moved us. And so we began with 6 families. And now I think across the country, we have around, my calculations are about 700 families.
Wow.
And it's a family uniting power, homeschooling.
I understand the idea that we need to have a vision. We have this vision. We have to, think about our children, our grandchildren. It can't stop just to this generation. And home education has an enormous impact on society as well. Again, in common with you, I have my eldest, he's 19 and he's in university. He's studying mathematical engineering, and he's very interested in what he's doing. And he never set foot in school, and he's setting an example. We started as well in 2011. There weren't many families in Italy, almost none actually, very little information. I'm feeling very close to you right now. And this is what the global meeting is going to be about: finding connections with other people, sharing, learning, and I just can't wait to be there. And I also think that this upcoming global conference is going to highlight the importance of community involvement. Again, there we go. We're working together. We're working in our smaller communities, and now we're going to share with everybody else all our knowledge. The GHEX global meeting that we're going to have in Manchester also caters to those who are interested to understand if home education could be the right choice for them. When they're transitioning in your country between, maybe very classic school approach and all that, what challenges do they have? What support systems are available to them?
Well, I need to answer that in 2 parts. The first part is, if you're transitioning, and you mentioned GHEX conference in Manchester, I think the word for it would be inspiration. If you need to be inspired to fight for your freedom as a citizen, as a European citizen, you're going to get inspiration there. It's going to be very inspiring because you're going to listen to stories, you're going to listen to struggles all around the world and how regular people, this is not superheroes, we're talking about regular moms who work like you, half time from their home, and they are fighting for their freedom and the freedom of their children. So there are some legal challenges. We had to negotiate for a long time with traditional schools, make them understand that our children were being educated, just not seated. You are not doing something illegal because it's not forbidden. And the legal principle is if it's not expressly forbidden, then it's allowed. It's just not regulated. It's not regulated. So it's not forbidden in any part of Latin America. Make sure to document your homeschooling the best as possible so that you can demonstrate if you're taken to trial, which has not happened in my country yet, or if you're brought up to the authorities that your children are actually not being denied their rights. So I think that's something that happens all the way in Latin America, also in USA, and I know also for a fact that in Europe. So it's just the same challenges all around the world, just in another language.
Yeah. Yes, and this is why it's so important to get together and come to this meeting. Dorcas, thank you. Thank you so much for your time and your unstoppable energy, and you're helping home ed rise. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see you in person. So thank you again. And please continue, because there's more celebration to do on this Day of the Children, isn't it? True.
Yes, we have some more things to do. I just want to say, it might be something like it could seem like it's too much effort to move to another country in order to attend such and such thing. But guys, you're already in the neighborhood. I have to cross. I have to travel. I think my plane has to fly for a day and an entire day and a half so that I can get there. So if you happen to be in the neighborhood, and if there is something that we could do as GHEX to help you get there, please reach out and let us know. Because if you're committed to freedom and you're committed to your children, to the next generation's freedom, you should be there. You should be there because you're the same as us. Just still didn't know. You didn't call yourself a homeschooler advocate or a freedom advocate yet, but you're doing the same. So let's meet there. Hopefully.
Yes, let's meet there. And we will be there, and we're expecting you to. Thank you again, Dorcas. Thank you so much for being here today. And I hope to see you in Manchester. I know I will see you in Manchester. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
In closing our discussion with Dorcas Ross, she reminded us that each family strengthens the whole home education community, ensuring that the movement not only endures, but flourishes. And, we extend this invitation to all of you that are watching this interview. You want to be part of this dynamic community at the Manchester event, Home Education Exchange. We're expecting so many people from all over the globe, the 11th and the 13th of July. So you will find a hub of inspiration, a confluence of ideas, and shared vision for the future of home education, because home education works. Bye.